That's not by popular acclaim. That's not like their viewer surveys. Like, we need a lot more Mark Levin. Less Jesse Waters, more Mark Levin. Mark Levin! What they're doing is what they always do, which is just turning up the propaganda hose to full blast and just trying to, knock elderly Fox viewers off their feet and make them submit to a new...
So that was Tucker Carlson, who built an entire career out of turning up the propaganda hose over on Fox News and scaring the elderly people that watch it. And he wants to sit there with a straight face now and call out Fox News. Tucker Carlson was the propaganda, he is the propaganda, and he will always be the propaganda. The only reason why he's still not sitting at Fox News is because they had to cough up $785 million after they defamed Dominion voting machines, and they had to come out and admit that they lied to their audience. And they felt it was best to just go ahead and part ways with old Tucker. And now he goes out here and he tries to act like he's some sort of rebel without a cause. He's some sort of outlaw journalist. He's not. He will always and forever be the propaganda. But MAGA is in the middle of a civil war, and folks, I'm absolutely here for it. It's time to pop the popcorn. I will sit back and watch them eat their own. I find it hilarious, though, that after everything we've been through, and after everything we've seen them accept, and after everything that we have saw them be perfectly okay with Donald Trump doing, they're drawing a line when it comes to going to war with Iran. And I find this to be extremely hypocritical, and I'm going to talk more about it in just a little bit. But let's play another clip right now from Steve Bannon's interview with Tucker Carlson, because they're explaining here why that Donald Trump will lose this presidency. It's amazing that it's this that's doing it, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. But listen to what Tucker has to say.
And I am saying this because I'm really afraid that my country's going to be further weakened by this. I think we're going to see the end of American empire, obviously. Other nations would like to see that, and this is a perfect way to scuttle the USS America on the shoals of Iran. But it's also going to end, I believe, Trump's presidency and effectively end it. And so that's why I'm saying this.
What do you mean by that? That's coming from you. That's
look, I knew Bush. I knew George W. Bush. We had, family connections to Bush. I knew Bush personally. I still see Bush sometimes. And, of course, he hates me, and he does because I criticized him on Iraq. And that war is the sum total, from a historical perspective, of his administration. But I knew him, and he had all kinds of plans for the things that he wanted to do. But once domestically,
right,
to improve the country.
Right.
And you may agree or disagree, but in his mind, he wasn't just about the invasion of Iraq in March of 2000.
Oh, no. He was going to redo Social Security. He had all
100%.
All types of. He was going to take care of the entitlements issue.
And he really thought it was going to work.
Yep.
And you could laugh at that or whatever, but the point is, the second you get enmeshed in a real war, not a fake, let's go bomb the villagers and declare success, though we don't even have a good track record. Like, why are the Houthis still there?
No,
there's a whole other question,
right,
which is how prepared is the U.S. military for a real conflict? And the answer is totally unprepared. Scary unprepared. I don't think people understand that. But anyway, the only reason I'm saying any of this is because I really, really care.
So the reason why I said that Tucker Carlson was, and will always be the propaganda is because he's a guy who just goes whichever way the wind was blowing. If you remember, there were text messages that they found where he was talking about how he hated Trump with a passion and couldn't wait till the day that he no longer had to cover him. And then what did he do? He fell right back in line. He kissed the ring. He bowed the knee. He went over and kissed the ring and bowed the knee to Vladimir Putin as well. We can't forget that one. The guy is nothing more than a propagandist who just goes whichever way the wind is blowing. But the minute that he stepped out of line with Donald Trump, of course, Donald Trump came up with a nickname for him. He's Kooky Tucker Carlson now. But you got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene who is siding with Tucker. You've got podcasters out there who's siding with him. You got a whole lot of people who's starting to break from Donald Trump. And again, I'm here for it, and I'm going to sit back and pop the popcorn and watch them self-destruct. This is something that should have happened a long time ago. It's crazy to me that we're just now starting to see some of this start to implode. But I'm going to play you one more clip because this one's actually pretty funny. This is like, do you remember back when you were in school and there was like two bullies and you hated them both equally, and then one day they got into a fight and you just sat back and enjoyed it? That's what this next clip of Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson is like. I'm not cheered for Tucker Carlson necessarily, but this is pretty damn funny.
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people living around?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah,
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's,
because,
it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay, this is cute.
It's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
claims, know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
Who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
Israel. High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay. And you know what the saddest part about that clip is to me? I think about all the times that people have been sitting in front of Donald Trump. How many times have you saw reporters sitting in front of him and they will stop and pump the brakes and not go all the way with it? They won't ask the tough questions. They won't double down. When they have the truth and the facts and the evidence right in their lap, they still are shy about it. They still won't fully go for the throat. Tucker Carlson actually went after Ted Cruz right there harder than we saw a journalist ever go after Trump when they're sitting across from him. So, I enjoyed seeing Ted Cruz get a dose of that, and I, don't necessarily care one way if it's Tucker or not, but I enjoyed seeing him get a dose of it. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, why can't more legitimate reporters actually stand up to Trump in that same way and just keep doubling down? But they never will for the most part. They're always going to find a way to run from Trump because at the end of the day, they're scared of him. But the thing about this whole MAGA civil war that has me baffled is that now they're sitting back saying, oh, no more wars. No more wars, man. And I'm supposed to think that's some sort of moral high ground? I'm supposed to give them brownie points because suddenly they're against wars? I would have thought, honestly, that they would be all for this. After that ridiculous dictator parade, I'm surprised that they're not all cosplaying because they love to better than anything. Trump loves to cosplay. Kristi Noem sure loves to cosplay. Don Jr. All of MAGA loves to play dress up. So I'm actually shocked that they're not out here all dressed up in their army uniforms. I'm shocked that they've not called upon, Kid Rock or Jason Aldean to write a song called I Never Ran From Iran in a Small Town. I'm surprised that the yellow ribbon industry isn't going out of business right now because they can't make yellow ribbons fast enough. Because I would have assumed automatically that MAGA would be absolutely gung-ho behind anything Donald Trump says, which Charlie Kirk, of course, is. After saying the same stuff that Marge and Tucker and everyone else has said, Charlie Kirk now says, oh, I trust Trump to make the right decision on this. But after everything that we have seen them accept and be okay with, and none of those things in the past was a bridge too far, it's just funny to me now that it's no more wars. That's the bridge some of them won't cross. But back during the pandemic in 2020, when Donald Trump came out and said that it would be over by Easter, he downplayed it, said it would be over by Easter. Then, no time flat after that, we hear audio tapes of him talking about how that he realized just how serious and severe that it was, but he was going to downplay it to the American people on purpose. And people just rolled with that. Then he lost the 2020 election, spread every lie and conspiracy theory that he could possibly spread till he got his followers so worked up they were ready to go hang the vice president, and they desecrated the Capitol. They kicked down the doors, beat up police officers. They put their feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk and even threw shit at the wall. And that wasn't a deal breaker for MAGA. Hell, they waited till he got back in and pardoned those people, called them patriots and hostages, and gave these violent criminals pardons. They didn't have a problem with Donald Trump being a 34-time convicted felon. They didn't have a problem with him being found liable of sexual abuse and defaming the victim. They didn't have a problem for anything that he's done. And he's got back in and done nothing but lay waste and shred the Constitution, ignore the Supreme Court. He doesn't even care about Congress anymore. I mean, when we're talking about the whole possibility of going to war with Iran, you've got people going, well, does he really need to ask Congress for permission? Well, I mean, no, not really. Now that he's got immunity, he can do whatever the hell he wants to. But it's amazing to me that after all of this, They're now going to say, well, no more, a war with Iran would be a bridge too far. I am not giving these people brownie points. You're not going to hear me saying, well, now this is good. We agree. I don't want a war in Iran. They don't win, and neither does Tucker Carlson. So this is a good thing. No, Tucker Carlson is a paid propagandist who pushes the propaganda, and all he's doing now is looking at a way to save his career as he goes forward. That's why I'm never impressed with any of these people and their stances, because their stance is just based on whatever will get them ahead right now, and they will change just like the wind blows. But for anyone in Maga to stand up and go, you know what, man, no more wars now. We can't have that. I'd be like Charles Manson standing up years later and going, all right, everybody, no more acid. I mean, the damage has already been done, okay? It's already been done. The damage they've done to this country by allowing this man to run it like a king, the damage that's been done to all of our institutions, the faith that has been lost in all of it because of Donald Trump, and now we're supposed to sit back and be glad that they don't want a war with Iran? I can't give them any points for that, not at all. But I will sit back here and gleefully watch them implode and watch them eat their own. And, you know, if Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz had have just jumped up and, you know, had a Tyson Holyfield moment right there, I would not have cared which one lost an ear. You know, I would absolutely sit back and watch. So we'll see it all unfold. And as it unfolds, we'll see Donald Trump come up with nicknames for all of them. And to the everyday voter that supported Donald Trump 3 times in a row, and they're just now starting to crack and break, I just want to bring this point back one more time. The minute you step out of line with this guy, you're the enemy. So you can sit back and you can think that we're woke, or you can think that we're evil, or you can think that we're the enemy from within. You can think that we should be rooted out like vermin. But just remember, the minute you step out of line with your cult leader, you're with us in his mind. You are the enemy from within too. And that's what a lot of people really needs to stop and ponder and think about whenever they're sitting there throwing stones at people like us. And by the way, they also had no problem. I forgot this one was one of the main ones I was going to say. They had no problem with there being a civil war right here in this country with us, who they call the enemy from within. Marjorie Taylor Greene was calling for a national divorce, saying we all just need to separate and go our own ways. So no, these people will never get a pass, and I'm never going to forget it. I'm always going to be holding on. But to the people who are just now starting to wake up and walk away, this is the moment we were warning you about. The minute you step out of line with Donald Trump, you're one of us. So you can hate us all day long, but step out of line and you're in the same boat.